Easter treat today. And this recipe is completely no special ingredients whatsoever. You can find all of these ingredients from your local grocery store. You might even have some of them already in your pantry. And this is a fantastic way to make super low cost, fancy Easter treats. So, thank you for those of you who have been waiting. I do apologize that we are running a little bit late on today's live, but you know what? Good things happen to those who wait. So we're going to get stuck into it. I'm going to give you a quick preview of what we're going to make, and then we're going to get into it. So I prepared some already yesterday, and I have them already wrapped up. So what we're making today, basically, it's an Easter egg, but it's kind of like cross between a cookie and an Easter egg and a Reese's peanut butter cup. So these guys are absolutely delicious. I've rolled some up in some foil here, and I'll give you a little bit of a sneak preview of one of the other ones that we did. So here we go. Here's another one, which is dipped chocolate. And I'm just going to cut into it so you can see the layers. So we are making today you want one? Here you go. So we're making today, down the bottom, we have a peanut butter shortbread. So peanut shortbread with crunchy pieces of peanuts in there. And then on top we have a peanut cream. And then this is coated in some chocolate, and I'll leave that up to you if you want to temper your own chocolate. So if you're in my pastry class, I want you to temper your chocolate. But if you folks are watching at home, you can just use normal chocolate, so without tempering. So anyway, let's get stuck into it. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to give this one a try too. Oh my God, so yummy. It's like Snickers and a Reese's peanut butter cup and a Twix all mixed together. They're so yummy. Okay, let's go. So, first thing that we want to do is we're going to start making our peanut shortbread. So how we do that is, I'm doing everything in my stand mixer today. However, you can just use a hand mixer, or you can use a wooden spoon and some elbow grease, as we say. So I have some vegan margarine here. I don't mind if you use the firm or the soft one. You can use either one, whatever works for you and what you can get your hands on. So I'm going to pop that straight into my bowl. And it's important that it's at room temperature. If you forget, like me, all the time to put things out the night before to get it to room temperature, especially in winter time, if you put it in a heat-safe bowl, you can put it into the microwave. Just do 5 seconds at a time and just check it, because we don't want to melt it, we just want it to be soft, okay? Peanut butter. So I did say that this was a low-cost recipe. Don't use the fancy, expensive peanut butter. Don't use homemade peanut butter. It's important that you use the cheap peanut butter. So I'm talking like Skippy or Jif or Kraft or something that's really inexpensive, the one that they put like fats and stuff inside. So I'm using this is like the local version here in Greece. And you'll notice like these types of inexpensive peanut butters, they're kind of thicker and they're fattier. Like, so anyway, you want to use this one. This is the one that you want. And that's the same type of peanut butter that you use like in Reese's peanut butter cups and all your candies and stuff. So super important. So I have that, that's going to go in with my butter, vegan butter of course. Now I'm going to set this up with the paddle attachment, which is this one here, or also known as the leaf attachment. And we're going to get this onto the stand mixer over here. I'll bring it into view so you folks can see. And we're going to start beating this until it gets nice and fluffy. So let's get it in the picture. There we go. That's better. All right, so that you can see it here. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to get this on. Now to that, you also want to add your sugar, and I am using a soft brown sugar. I just love the flavor of this, and I think it ties really nicely with the peanuts, and it gives it more of like a caramelly kind of flavor. Okay, so I'm going to get this on and medium speed. We're going to start creaming until it's nice and fluffy. So while we're waiting, while that's doing its thing, we can start chopping our peanuts because our shortbread has some nice crunchy peanuts in there. So I'm just using some toasted peanuts. It doesn't matter if they're salted or not. And you want to chop these nice and fine. So when we bite into our shortbread, you get kind of like these nice little crunchy bits of peanut, which is so yummy. So for you folks that are joining live, or if you're watching this pre-recorded, give me a shout out. Let me know where you are joining us from. I'd love to hear from you guys. I know we get so many people from all around the world. And do you have a famous peanut candy or pastry in your country? All right, so we're going to just continue chopping this until it's nice and fine. What I love about this recipe too is anyone can do it, and this is really fun. You can actually get kids involved and family members involved. I know a lot, depending where you are in the world, it's not always so easy to find dairy-free or vegan Easter options. Or maybe your only option is just to have like a dark chocolate egg, and sometimes it's a bit boring, so it's nice to be able to mix it up and be able to have something a bit more special for Easter time. If you haven't already checked it out, we did make some Easter hot cross buns last week. So if you love yeasted breads, go check out that. It's in the playlist under weekly sweet masterclasses, or you can check it out on the Panaseg playlist. It's also there too. All right, so our cream, butter, and sugar is looking good. Might turn that up a little bit. My nuts are coming along nicely. You do want them quite fine. Okay. And if you're joining us for the first time, we have live masterclasses every single week. You can catch Stephanie on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern European Standard Time, and she always has amazing savory dishes. And then you can catch myself every Wednesday at 10 a.m. for a sweet treat. And we show you folks how to use our products, but we also do show recipes like the one today where there's no special ingredients required. Always super low cost and fun, of course. All right, so those are nice and fine now. Let's have a look at our creamed peanut butter and our butter. Doesn't that look good? So let's scrape down the bowl. I'm going to pop that aside. I'm going to scrape down the bowl here, make sure that everything's incorporated. Get right down the bottom. Okay, and now I'm going to put a little bit of vanilla in there. So a splash of vanilla, optional, but I always like that. About a teaspoon. Okay. I'm going to get this back on the mixer just for a second so we can incorporate that. Okay, so that's done. Next, we have our dry ingredients. So I'm just using all-purpose flour, also known as plain flour. So that kind of your medium grade protein content. And along with that, we have some sea salt and some bicarb of bicarbonate of soda. So this recipe that I'm doing today with you guys is very, very common for a same kind of method as making a shortbread. We've just replaced some of our butter with peanut butter. And I think it also makes it like a bit healthier too, because you've got, you've got some nuts in there, and it's a lot more satiating, as we say. And then you've got your bicarb soda, which just, I find kind of lightens it up a bit more. I know we've incorporated some air in there, but bicarb soda just kind of lightens it up a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna get this back on the mixer. And we want to just mix this up until it's like kind of halfway combined. Bring this over so you can see. And it's going to start looking kind of like breadcrumby. All right, so once it's halfway combined, we're going to add our peanuts. Okay. So that we just chopped up. So I'm going to add them now. Okay. Oh, it smells so good. Let me know if you're a peanut fan, or what is your favorite nut? So we're just going to give that a mix. So now once you get to this stage, where it's kind of breadcrumby, you want to kind of like, I like to take it off the mixer and just scrape down the sides, get everything incorporated. We basically want to get it to the stage where we can turn it into a dough, but see how it's not turning into a dough right now? So I'm going to grab myself a little bit of plant milk, and you want to add like 1 or 2 tablespoons until it just starts coming together. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I've got my plant milk here. Actually, the caps is always like about a teaspoon. So I'm going to put in 3 teaspoons. We're going to see if that brings it together, because we don't want to make it like too wet. If you're using a soft margarine which has a lower fat content, you'll notice that you probably won't need to add any plant milk at all. So it's just kind of like moistening everything. Okay, let's check it again. Let's do our little test again. So I like to just get my hands in there and then just kind of squeeze it together. It's still a little bit dry, so I'm going to put another, maybe like 2 teaspoons in. And as I said, like this could change depending on the fat content of your butter, or also the texture of your peanut butter too. So just keep on going kind of by feel. I'm going to scrape it back down again, make sure everything is incorporated. You really don't want to overwork the dough, because then that's when you start getting like a tough cookie. Okay, so we're going to go back in there. Okay, so that's feeling good. It's kind of like a Play-Doh texture or like a clay texture, okay? So that's all coming together nicely. We can pop this aside now. All right, let's put our mixer over here. So now what we can do is we can start rolling out our dough. So the way that I like to do it is if you have some of these sheets, guys, like these like silicone sheets, these are amazing. And I always like to use these when I'm rolling out dough. Or you can use what's known as guitar sheets. So that's what they use in professional pastry kitchens. So I usually have them, but I like to use these because they are reusable. Now, okay, so, and of course I have my trusty rolling guides, which is completely optional. You can do this by eye if you like. I'm gonna get out my, see, it's just all crumbly right now, but we're gonna bring it all together. Okay, so I'm just using my hands, pressing it all together. Okay. We're not working the gluten, we're just kind of combining everything. Okay. So I'm going to bring that all together. I'm going to do sort of like a rectangle sort of shape. Okay. That's looking good. Now I have my rolling guides and another mat. Rolling pin, we're going to roll this down 4 millimeters, which I think is like about, is it like 1/8 of an inch? Anyway, my US people can comment what 4 millimeters is in inches. Okay, so just slowly rolling this out. And you can always take a look at your work. Move it back around. There we go. You can go both ways. See, you can move your guides around, roll up and down this way. And this cookie, believe it or not, is like, it's not very sweet either. Like the sugar that we're getting, we didn't actually use that much sugar. There's only 90 grams of brown sugar, which is not as sweet as the white sugar. And then just whatever sugar is in your peanut butter. So it's not a super sweet cookie because that cream that we're going to be making goes on top is quite sweet, and then with the chocolate, so it just balances everything out. So I kind of like that. So I find sometimes some of those candies can be really, really sickly sweet. So yeah, this one's nice. Okay. If it starts coming off the edge, you can always just grab a little bit and then patch it up, see? Take a little bit, put it on a side. It's a little bit empty. Okay, put your guides back on. Oh, we have someone watching. Peace and shalom, namaste. Namaste to you too. All right. Sounds like a yogi. I do have a lot of students, not as many as we used to, but a lot of students who come and do a lot of yoga, and they have like yoga retreats and stuff, and they want to learn how to make some different types of vegan offerings for their yoga retreats, because a lot of yogis are vegetarian or plant-based. Okay, so this is looking good. I'm happy with this. I'm pretty sure it's like 4 millimeters all the way around. Okay, done. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get this onto a tray. I'm going to put the top back on. And pop this on my tray. This is going to go into the refrigerator. I'll put that on there too. For 1 hour, okay? So you want to do that just for everything to fully relax, because if we start cutting them out now and baking them, they're going to shrink. And that's not what we want. We want it beautiful cookies, which have a lovely texture. So I'm going to quickly pop this into the refrigerator, and then we're going to move on to the next step. All right. Excellent. Okay. So, once you have refrigerated your dough for 1 hour, what is the next step? Well, we need to cut out our little bitty cookies of Easter egg of shape. So, how do we do that? Well, where's my little Easter egg here? I went online and I found a picture, an illustration of an Easter egg, okay? So, all we want to do is, you can do this freestyle as well. The other one I just hand did. This one I printed off the internet. Grab yourself a pair of scissors. So the size that I have, it's kind of like a thumb size, I suppose. Anyway, I'm cutting this out of my piece of paper. And this is how you can make handmade cookie cutter templates. Okay. Cutting this around. Done. All right, so this is my template. We can recycle that. Okay, so next thing that you want to do is grab yourself just some light vegetable oil. And I just like to put some on my fingers. And we're going to give this a nice little oil massage. So this is going to stop it from sticking to our dough when we use this as our guide to cut. Okay. Now I did already prepare some dough yesterday from the cookies that I showed you earlier at the beginning of this video. So I'm going to show you how to cut them out now. So yeah, let's grab that dough. It's been in the fridge. Okay. Alrighty. So you want to grab yourself a paring knife, which is just one of these smaller knives, and let's give it a bit of a clean. I have some chocolate over here that I have to keep on stirring so it doesn't set up on me. All right, so we have our knife here. I'll bring you folks down so we can have a closer look. Alrighty, so dough. We have our template that we just made together. Now I'm putting it onto my dough and I'm getting my knife, and you want to do it in a sawing motion, up and down, and just cut it around. And I know the first one that you do is probably going to take you a little bit of time, but once you start getting into it, you'll get faster and faster, and you'll be like, oh my God, I can make so many different shapes. You can do bunnies, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so hold that down. And it's just kind of like a soaring little motion. Don't worry if the cookie dough starts crumbling. At this stage, we don't want to move our eggs. We're just cutting them out, okay? So I'm just soaring motion. You can even use your paper or whatever you've got it on to kind of like turn it around if that makes it a bit easier for you. So look, I've just done 3 just there. Okay. Now what I like to do at this stage, once I've cut out as many as I like, pop it back onto your tray, and then this goes into the freezer for 15 minutes, and during that period of time you can go and preheat your oven to 160 degrees with a fan. And yeah, so you can do that. So alrighty, so I'm going to pop this into my little freezer here, and we can get on to our next step. Okey-doke. Oops. So once they're ready from the freezer after your 15 minutes and your oven has been preheated, you can pop them onto a lined baking tray, so just a tray with some baking paper, or you can use one of these air mats, which I love for cookies and stuff like that. In there for this size, it was about 8 minutes, okay? So this is the size, okay? And I like the air mats because it makes them nice and flat, but you can absolutely just use baking paper. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So nice and crisp. Here we'll do like a crisp test. Yeah, can you hear that? So yum. Okay. Oh, they're good. Okay. So over here, I don't know if you can see, I'm stirring some chocolate, just melting that down. I just tempered it earlier, but it started setting, so we're just melting it back down. What are we going on our temperature here? 27. Yeah. All right, so we can keep on doing that. Now we are going to move on to our peanut cream. This is so easy and it's so yummy. Okay. So cream. Let's get on to that. 2 ingredients. Peanut butter and icing sugar. Just sift your icing sugar. And we are going to, I'll do it over here so you can kind of see me while we're doing hot chocolate as well. There we go. All right, so I'm just stirring my chocolate, making sure. So this is going to be what the cookies are dipped in, yeah? And as I mentioned, I did temper it earlier, but you don't have to temper your chocolate, so that's totally optional. All right, so our peanut cream, we have our peanut butter and our icing sugar. And I've just got a spoon, I'm just mixing everything together. Just kind of slowly incorporating. Let me know in the comments, have you guys made any Easter recipes? I've seen a lot of people making carrot cake right now. Carrot cake and hot cross buns. Let me know if you made something special for Easter. Is there a special Easter dessert or pastry in your country, and what is it? What's it called? Let me know. I'm always very, very curious. All right, this is coming together nice. Let's give our chocolate a bit of a stir. Check the temperature on it. Yep. So getting there. Turn this up a bit. Okay. There's some very interesting pastries here in Greece. I was doing some research. I don't know if you watch the channel. I do absolutely love making any type of yeasted breads. And was doing a bit of research, and in Crete they make a yeasted bread. It's like a sourdough bread from chickpeas. So they make the sourdough starter or the mother dough with chickpeas. So I was very, very curious about that. So always doing lots of experiments here at Vegan Gastronomy. I just came in this morning and my chickpea mother dough is already very active. So yeah, that'll be exciting. If that bread works out, I will pop into our community page how that's going, and then maybe we can make that here on the channel as well. Let me know if that interests you, if you folks are into sourdough breads and want to learn an ancient sourdough bread from Crete made with chickpeas. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was fascinating. Okay, so our chocolate is getting there. We're just going to keep an eye on it. Might take it off. It's nice and silky. You know when it's tempered, when it's very shiny as well. The top of your chocolate will be very shiny. And basically tempering just means, like, if you've ever had like a really snappy chocolate, it doesn't melt in your hands. And if you guys want to learn more about tempering chocolate, come join me in my pastry class. We have a lot of programs online right now at vegangastronomy.com. You can go check it out. And chocolate tempering is one of the classes that we do, and we make a whole bunch of chocolate treats and bonbons and lots of different candies and stuff, so which is really fun. So almost there. I'm just trying to get to my working temperature. So we have a nice, even chocolate. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And now that we have our cream, I can bring you folks down. We're going to start putting this on. Alrighty, so how we put our cream on. I found that 1 teaspoon worked really, really well. I had some cream left over from yesterday. So yeah, I just used this teaspoon. Let's use the one that we just made. All right, so I'm just going to grab a teaspoon of my peanut cream, and I'm just going to put it on each one. So I'll do a few with you guys. How about we'll do like 6 or something. 2, 3. This would even be fun, like something to do on Easter Day. I know like so many countries around the world are in lockdown right now. So it's fun to be able to do something in the comfort of your own home. Something cozy. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to get some icing sugar. I've just got a big jar of icing sugar here. I'm just going to tip a little bit out into the lid because I find if I use a little bit of my icing sugar, just dip your finger inside, and I'm going to use that to help kind of fashion it over my cookie. So I'm just pressing it down. Bring this up a little bit closer so you can see. See, I'm just pressing it down so it's kind of even all the way around. And then what we can do is kind of start smoothing it on the edges. And this is, yeah, it's going to stop it sticking to your fingers. So there you go. Let's do the next one. So just kind of smush it down. If it starts getting a bit sticky, just dip your finger again into the icing sugar. And you can go around. And as you keep doing this, you'll get faster and faster. You might think the first one you're like, oh my God, it takes so long. But it gets easier. Like anything, it's all about practice. I always tell all my students, sometimes it can be a bit daunting making something for the first time that requires, you know, a few different steps. But once you've practiced it a few times, you just get the hang of it and you get a lot quicker. Alrighty, so just again smoothing it out and then kind of swiping the sides down like a little slope, making sure that it's sticking well. Okay, 2 more to go. And then I'll probably ask Chef Steph to help me later. We'll make some Easter eggs.
Can I throw it on? Amazing. They're amazing.
She's like the biggest peanut butter junkie, so she hasn't even tried one of these yet. I think she's scared to try it because she'll want to eat them all. She tried the cookie yesterday, but she hasn't tried it with the chocolate yet. Okay, so last one. And we're going to do some really fun decorations with this. Yeah, so you can get like a whole family involved. You could have like a station, someone does like different things, different little tasks. Okay, so that's all done. Can pop our icing sugar back. Let's check our chocolate. So I'm just using a dark chocolate, dairy-free. I am using a curvature chocolate. If you're just using like a chocolate bar at home and you're finding that the viscosity, so like the thickness of the chocolate, it's too thick, you can always add a little bit of melted cocoa butter. And yes, cocoa butter is vegan. It just has the word butter, but I promise you it is vegan. It's from the cocoa bean. So I'm just giving it a bit of a stir, making sure that it is nice and melted. All right. I have a tray on the ready. You want to have like all your stations set up. Okay, baking paper. Let's bring you guys over a little bit further so we can get a nice shot in there of everything. There we go. Is that better? Okay. So next, what we need to do, we're going to start dipping these in our chocolate. I have 2 forks over here. That's going to help us. And decorations. So you can do whatever you like. I am using some chopped pistachios. I have some hundreds and thousands or sprinkles for my folks in the US, and some flowers. So I'm going to pop them aside. I'm going to grab our cookie with our cream. Give your chocolate a good stir. Straight in with cream size up, and then I like to get my fork and just kind of flick that chocolate over the top. Grab your cookie, bounce it up and down on the chocolate, and then we're going to tap it on the side to take off any excess. That will also get rid of any little air bubbles that you'll see. So just tap, tap, tap. You'll see the chocolate kind of dripping from underneath. And then I like to use my other fork just to kind of swipe and then just kind of shimmy it onto your tray. Let's do the next one. Same thing again, flicking over our chocolate. Bounce up and down a few times, and then we're going to give it a little tap. Now, chocolate is messy business, but I will tell you, working with chocolate makes you a cleaner chef too. All right, because you know you don't want to get it all over you, so you work hard to try and keep it in the one spot. Okay, flicking it over the top. You want to make sure you don't lose the peanut cream on the top. Make sure it's always on the top, because that biscuit will allow you to dip it into the chocolate, because otherwise the cream is too soft, see? But then you have those different dimensions of texture, which we love. All right, got a few more to go. Just flicking over our chocolate. A little bit of a tap. Get all those little air bubbles out. Okay, shimmy. And I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see my little eggs on the side. If you have kind of like some little tails of chocolate that you can see, just leave them right now, because once the chocolate sets, you can just cut those parts off and make it look perfect. Okay, and swipe, do a couple of swipes. And I'm just kind of jiggling it as it comes off. Last one. Chocolate flicking. Bouncing. And then a tap. Give it a swipe. And every so often, just give your chocolate a good stir too, so it doesn't start setting on you. And a little jiggle. Okie doke, so let's do our decorations, which is the fun part. I have some white chocolate here. We'll see if it's set up. Oh no, it hasn't fully set yet. Okay, so if you want to do some white chocolate, vegan white chocolate of course, you can go back and you can do some little stripes, which is fun. Okay, and then we have our decorations. I love this with the pistachios, and I kind of like to just kind of go on half of it. And then let's go in with some sprinkles on this one. That's a fun one for the kids. And then these ones here with their beautiful blue cornflower. I think they're really pretty. Okay, you see those guys? So just let them to crystallize. If you have not tempered your chocolate, pop these into the refrigerator. If you've tempered it, you can just leave it outside. You can probably already tell that because this chocolate is tempered, it's already started setting. So let's have a look at our finished product together again so we can do a little bit of a recap. And we can make some beautiful, crisp, beautiful Easter gifts, okay? All right. So these are the ones that we made yesterday. I'm going to pull them out so we can have a nice look at them. Just take them out of my container here. So they look pretty. Okay. So we have an arrangement of different Easter eggs here. So these were very similar to the ones that I just made, see, with the pistachio, and then we have these ones with the sprinkles. And then I also have some with the foil. So if you're wondering where you get this foil from, if you go online to any kind of like pastry online store, you can buy these little foils. eBay is also a great place to find them as well. And they're really inexpensive. And I think it just makes it a little bit more fancy. So you can give these as gifts. I actually just got some cellophane bags because I thought it would be nice to show you a gift. And talking about gift giving, I was very lucky because my mum, all the way back home in Australia, we're here in Naxos, Greece right now, sent me a Christmas present back in November, and we just received it. Well, not knowing the language here in Greece just yet, the local post office, they didn't speak any English at all, and so they didn't call. Stephanie, our chef here, she was at the local post office and she saw the package with my name on it, and she brought it in today, and my mum was so happy and I was so happy that they found it. So there you go. And I have some of the wrapping, some of the, I always like to, I don't know about you folks at home, do you keep like all your ribbons and stuff that you get from gifts? I always keep them because I think it's nice. Anyways.
Instead of wrapping into name tags for other people's presents.
Exactly, you can make it into name tag. Oh yeah, actually Mom used to do that all the time. Like if you have a card, if you have a card, you can actually just cut the front of the card off and you can reuse it. Let's put another one here. So I'm doing like a little present here with all my little Easter eggs. See? In my cellophane bag, and then you can reuse your ribbon. Cut this. How did she cut the other side? Oh, okay. Like this. We'll do this one a bit smaller. But look, isn't that fun? Isn't that a nice Easter present? Who wouldn't be happy with that? Gourmet, handmade Easter eggs. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I do hope that you try this recipe at home, even if you just want to try the peanut butter shortbread cookie, or have a go at doing this one here, whether you're making it for Easter or any type of celebration. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this recipe. And yeah, if you're interested in taking any online courses with us, you can check out vegangastronomy.com. And as I mentioned earlier, we always have free masterclasses every Tuesday. Stephanie does a savory class at 1 p.m. Eastern European Standard Time. And myself are here with all your sweet treats on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next week. Bye.